Hello and welcome to the show the PTA, your parents, and the asleep don't want you to hear, the Helios blog. Today, Andrew Tate versus Sneako. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Empire on the planet. I actually think that it was the best empire in the world, not just because it was the largest, because I think it was genuinely the best to live under. In modern worlds, everyone, when she died, all the liberals were celebrating, saying she's a colonist.
That's like the internet
If you lived
consensus.
under the
Oh
British
shit, I
Empire,
had no idea. Okay.
you had a semi-good life. They turned up and they built roads and schools and monuments and built a railroad.
Yeah, that's not how that worked. It was patricians versus plebeians. Most people were plebeians and had nothing. So no, that's bullshit.
And everyone's complaining about the British Empire. If you lived under the Japanese Empire, it was worse. Because they just chopped your head off for being a fucking peasant. They didn't build shit. Like, fuck you. Give me that. Oh, and pull out the katana. So at least the British built shit. So the British did good for the entire world as a whole. The world back then was different. I'm not saying colonization is a good thing. I'm saying that back then it was just empires. You were a part of an empire, one of them. That's how it worked. And she.
Well, okay. That's revisionist view of history at best, and big idiot at worst.
He was the head of the Commonwealth for a very long time, and I was genuinely upset when the Queen died. Maybe it's the patriot in me, but I thought the Queen was a G.
Don't you think the natives deserve to celebrate her death?
Why would they?
The Native Americans, anybody who's suffered from colonization?
Did they? Well, this is a really interesting question because you talk about suffering from colonization.
Or did they do better?
A lot of the. Do you think India? Let me ask you the question then. Do you think India suffered? Do you think India is in a worse place now than it would have been if it was never colonized by the British? Now, I'm not saying the British didn't kill people. I'm not saying they were completely fair, but also the world was a different place back then. Nowhere was fair. If the British didn't turn up to India in the 1800s, then the Indians would have been killing the Indians. People just killed each other. That's how it worked, right? Do you think India would be in a better place today if it was never colonized by the British?
I mean, they're pooping in the streets right now.
What would they be doing?
Yeah, do you think it would have been different before the British Empire? I think it would have been worse.
If they didn't, the British didn't turn up. I mean, if you look at some of the biggest, best buildings in most of these countries, or some of the most critical infrastructure, it's the shit the British built 200 years ago, to this day. And
Indeed.
They had their liberation for a very long time, and they haven't managed to surpass the infrastructure the British built. Do you want to talk about why that is? I mean, I'm sure there's reasons, but my point is, the British turned up to a country. They ruled India with less than fucking 60,000 men. The Indians could have kicked their ass any time, but they turned up and they gave genuine value to the point people thought, okay, these white people turned up on this boat. They know shit. Oh, whoa, railroad. Whoa, okay. Whoa, schools.
They had schools before. Come on. They just forced them to use the British system, which, to be fair, wasn't so bad. It was based off the British military school, which was based on the German military school. Sorry, Austrian.
They didn't do it purely by force. India is a big place. They did it with a very small contingent, and they did it by adding value. And yeah, the British were not people you want to fuck with, but they definitely added value to their colonies. And I know this is going to upset the whole fucking world. All the people are going to say I'm a colonist. This is a pretty diverse panel. I don't know.
Jesus. Algoman, thanks for the $100. Seemed like you're working pretty hard on the content front recently. What is your timeline to start the media company? That's like in a back seat. I'll be able to talk more about stuff tomorrow, okay?
Where I come in on the Brown scale, but it's a pretty. It's
I know where I come in.
It's a pretty diverse panel, but the world was a dangerous place back then, and I think being under the British Empire afforded these countries a lot of security and safety and technological advancements, and I don't think it was all completely a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Barbados, so we were colonized as well. But we got our independence as well. But Andrew, as a young man navigating the Matrix, where do you think somebody is to live nowadays in terms of place to live? What's the best location you think possible for a guy to live in these times?
That's a good question. It's a hard one for me to answer, but I think that should be the first question to the panel. So let's go through one by one. Let's change the question slightly. When you're deciding where you want to live on the planet, what are you looking for?
Depends on how much money you have. If you're American, Miami's the move, or Puerto Rico. But if you have more money, if you have top G money, then Croatia, I think sounds good. Albania, Romania, obviously. But most people can't answer that question.
But why?
Everything you say about Eastern Europe, about the traditional values, about the lack of feminist indoctrination, about the web.
No offense, and I don't mean any offense by this, of course. but I don't think super wealthy people want to go and live in Eastern Europe. No, like, again, no offense, but like, what?
There's nice.
I mean, it depends where. If it's north, then probably not. If it's more southern, why not? Actually, many do. The fact that you don't doesn't mean that many don't. But also, you know, like, if you're an English person, you're highly rich, you might want to go to a place where they speak, you know, your language.
Things are cheap. People are nice.
Girls are skinny.
Girls are skinny. We saw one, but there has not been one fat under 40 woman this whole time.
That's been the challenge of the whole week.
Trying to find one?
I challenged Myron and Sneako at the beginning of the week to find a girl under 40 that was fat.
Yeah, it's not a societal norm here. It's not accepted in the same way. So societal norms have a large part to play on how we act as a whole, which you can extrapolate to everything, right? The societal norm.
Do these people know
Eastern
anybody in the
Europe is not
Balkans? When, okay, I could be wrong, but, oh, well, I'm not wrong. When Americans, and it feels like when British people, or at least like people in this world, when they talk about Eastern Europe, it feels like they're talking about maybe the Baltics and then like Romania and Poland, and that's it. That is Eastern Europe. I don't think the Balkans count. I don't think they mean that when they say Eastern Europe, but that's literally what it feels like. It feels like they're talking about Poland and Romania, and maybe they would have Ukraine before the war. Poland and Romania, and then like maybe the Baltics, and nobody thinks about.
They just referenced Croatia. What? I don't. Okay.
Germany? I don't think Germany counts as Eastern.
That's not. No, that would be Central Europe.
Europe, does it? Greece? Wait.
That would not be. Okay, it was part of the. No, it was part of the normal Roman Empire. It wasn't even part of the Eastern Roman Empire. Although, yeah. Anyway.
I think Greece counts as like. Wait, hold on. I can't tell people are trolling me now. Wait. Hold on, somebody just said, do you even know where Romania is? And I look it up and I'm like, wait, did I just fuck this up? No, yeah, wait, what? I don't know, China was trolling me right now. Baltics or Balkans? Baltics. Right? The Baltics are Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Yeah, but they're more central. Although they, you know, you could take them as Eastern Europe as well.
Yeah, right? Or the Baltics. The Balkans are the whole southern Yugoslavia exploded Serbian shit that's all fucked. Maybe not anymore. I shouldn't say that right now. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure the Baltics are a decently nice place to be, right?
Yeah, I believe that they're referencing those as well. You could group them in. You could.
I think those countries are doing pretty well. Nobody talks about them because they're small, but I think that those countries have generally made like quite a bit of progress. They've been pretty peaceful, I think, since 91, right? I think the Baltics have been decently peaceful and everything, and they've like made a lot of progress, like educationally, economically. Even Poland has to some extent, or they were making a lot of progress. I don't know about Romania at all. Ukraine obviously is in a fucking war. The Baltics aren't much better than the Balkans. Is that true? I don't know that history as much, but my understanding is the Baltics have done like pretty well since the collapse of the Soviet Union. They've done like exceedingly well.
Well, I mean, as well as can be expected, but they were behind like a century. So, it's catch-up time.
Then the Balkans have had, I mean, at least one NATO intervention and a lot of problems. But, okay, sorry.
And it's to not be a hoe, for example. Whereas in the West, they don't have those societal norms and people act
and it's a disaster
in a certain way. Maybe I'm getting old and boring, but I like to live. When I was last in Miami, which is the best city in America, hands down.
Nice.
Best city in America,
Miami.
This can't like anyone who talks about New York that they're right. Miami is the best. But
okay. When people say Miami is the best city in America, is that like a huge? I don't want to say self-report. It's not like bad, but is the person basically just saying I really like going to clubs? Is that?
Yes, that's what they're saying. They're talking about the getting laid scene.
Really, all they're saying? Because I don't know why the fuck else you would think that Miami is the best city in America, other than you like clubs and the beach, and maybe bimbo pussy, I guess.
You see?
To me, it feels godless.
It is. That's why I
It
left.
just feels godless. When I'm in Miami, I'm just like, not New York, Miami. I'm like, this is fun, but it just feels, where's God? God ain't here. There's
Indeed.
Hoe, that hoe. Like, I'm just like, where's God? He forgot about Miami. I don't know. It just feels godless. Like, and maybe I'm getting old and boring, but I like to just see the traditional business run by the family and the hotel run by the family and the women going to church on a Sunday.
Then why the fuck would you say Miami is the best city in in America? What are you?
He's saying that it because he he means it from the godless perspective, right?
Talking about then?
And that's what I like about Eastern Europe. Maybe I'm getting old and boring.
So I'll say this: it depends on what you want. Personally speaking, if you want girls, you got a little bit of paper. Go to Colombia. Not much to do there, but the girls, the scenery, food is cheap. And then if you want to have fun, you
Does it sound a little bit weird? Is sex tourism always a bad thing? I don't know. I feel a little bit weird when people talk about going to like poorer countries to pick up women. That feels a little strange to me. But
Why? Why would it feel strange? The guy can barely speak English, so that would be his best strategy. Again, like, you use whatever advantage you have. Like some guys, they, you know, that's what they have. So that's what they use.
I don't know.
you have money, Miami for sure.
All right, so let's carry on with the question. So, yeah, fresh. Let's say money's no object. Let's say we all have hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever. You could live anywhere on the planet. Where would you live and why?
Money is not object. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Probably Colombia. Give me 1,000.
Colombia?
Really? That's not a good idea, considering the history. Yeah, you know what they say, a fool and his money are soon parted. Yeah, you better be greasing a lot of palms if you don't want that to be you.
First off, the girls are beautiful. They're at least somewhat feminine. The money goes very far. So, for example, like, you could be a G with only like.
What are you saying if you have
50K,
infinite money,
100K a
dude?
year. And honestly speaking, like, it's skill because, for example, people
This guy can barely talk, dude.
that go there have businesses, you know, other Americans. So it's kind of like you have your own community guys that are successful and hot girls. I mean, you can't really lose. So
Mine wants to go to Dubai, right?
I'll go last. I'm producing over here.
Justin, what about you, bro? Where you living?
Man, we were just talking about this in the war room, but to me, man, it matters who's there. So you can go anywhere in the world you want. It could be the best place on earth. If your boys aren't there, bro, it's shit. It's
true.
Number one.
It's true.
Colombia, I've been. I like it. I think you need a plug there, like you need a plug in anywhere else.
George
but
Gammon.
You need a plug. No, you need a plug that's local because Colombia can be very dangerous also.
Mm.
You know.
You see what I said?
So I would have to say Europe in some regard, probably Eastern Europe somewhere. Based off of my experience, I like Dubai, but it kind of feels like an island. I would not go.
Wait, is this guy American? Or did somebody from Europe just say that my place that I would want to live in would be Europe or Eastern Europe?
To where is it? Everybody Dominican? Is it?
DR, Dominican Republic.
Yeah, but then you get island fever, man. So I would say Eastern Europe somewhere.
Mhm.
If you're not gonna live in the States and you're not gonna live in Miami, that would be my bet. But without your boys, it's shit anyway. I'd rather live in Indiana with my boys than live in the best country on earth with nobody. So that's how I feel about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people pretty much know my answer. But yeah, Justin's right. It's a lot about the people you're with. It's about what stage you are in your life. But certainly the people you're with are going to influence your reality. I've been to a lot of places. I've been all around the world. The number one thing people say to me is, Tate, you have so much money. Why don't you travel? The first thing is I do travel. All I do is fucking travel. It's annoying. But the second thing is that the world's the same, man. You either go out to a restaurant or you stay in. You fuck a bitch, you watch TV or sit on the computer. The world's the same pretty much everywhere. So you got things like weather, you got things like the general safety of a place. But then you got to go for the intangibles. I like driving past churches. That's why I live in Romania. I like driving past churches. Sounds stupid, but there's nothing that America has that Romania doesn't have. I can buy a Lambo here. There's a Lamborghini garage. There's fucking clubs. There's bottles. There's Dom P. There's bitches. There's restaurants. Like what does Miami have that Bucharest does not have?
Not much.
Nothing. It's all the same. It's all here, and this is a poor country, right? It's all here.
People say it's a poor country, but that's a lie.
It's a
Yeah, it's not really true of any country, really, in certain areas, right? Okay, that's also not true, but you get what I'm saying. The majority have pockets of wealth, right? But the idea is, in general, right?
It's a straight line.
So false, bro. Like, dude, the clubs are lit here, girls are bad here, and the cars, bro. This Lamborghinis outside, driving up and down, Porsches, everything is like, it's lit, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of money here.
Yeah,
It's very first world.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm in a poor country being here at all. I'll tell you guys that. Like coming from Miami, where it's like super bougie, like yeah.
You guys spent the whole time at the mall, going to all the first world places.
Well, hold on. Where are they at in Romania, though, too, right? Like, that's going to depend
He referenced Bucharest. That would be the capital.
on... XQC no showing on his own event. Wait, really?
You didn't even go.
They're in Bucharest. Oh, they're in the capital. Because if they're in, like, the wealthiest parts of that country, I'm willing to bet there's probably a lot of poorer parts of Romania that they never see, right?
I went to actual Bucharest. You've been to the mall 8 times in 4 days.
Well, to be fair, I've been on dates. I've been learning the culture, okay?
Dates at the mall, very adolescent. Take her to a nice restaurant. Take her to go scenery seeing.
I know you know.
Come on, Sneako.
A church.
We took those girls. Oh, wait, they're waiting in the lobby.
Better than the mall.
L. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna live in the United States, I think if you live in Florida or Texas, those are fantastic places to start. Because anywhere where
Texas?
it's not expensive to live and you're not getting taxed to death, you'll be okay. If you're gonna pick major cities in these states, I would say, you know, Miami is fantastic. Fort Lauderdale is good. Tampa's good. I don't like Orlando. And if you're gonna be in Texas, Dallas and Houston are good. Just a little bit dangerous. South Texas is surprisingly nice too, like McAllen. People talk shit about the southwest border, but there's some nice areas there. Phoenix is also good, and Arizona. The only thing that sucks is there is a state income tax. But if you're gonna go abroad, I mean, Romania is nice. I can see why the Tates live here. You get a lot of like, it feels like a first world country, even though like it might not necessarily be one like GDP wise. And then
Okay, just a heads up, guys. Any country probably in the world at this point, but especially any country in Europe, if you're in like the capital cities, I don't know what you guys are expecting in 2022. They're all going to be first world. Like everybody has like cars and toilets and internet. Like it's not going to be like you're in some place where there's like villagers are carrying buckets of water to like the local
In the capital city. Exactly.
inn for settlers to come and rest in before they move further east or something. Like everything, like most of the world is going to be relatively modernized.
And what else? But for me, I'm gonna probably go to an Arab country when this is all said and done, to find my virgin
Jesus.
Find the virgin wife. Yeah, why
wife. Find
not?
the virgin wife, man. So yeah.
Right. So go on. We're gonna say.
Next question.
Our next question. So he just said when this is all said and done. So that's gonna lead into one of the questions I'm gonna ask.
Good.
So that's perfect. It makes it all together. So why? I want to ask all of you, and you have to tell the truth because the audience are gonna tell if you're lying. If they're lying, guys, you have to say they're lying in the chat. Why do you stream? Why do you talk to the world? Why?
I want to
For money.
wake people up.
Wake people up from one.
Liar.
And why? And then why do you want to wake them
From
up?
their
Why are
brainwashing.
you compelled? Why are you motivated to do this?
My whole life philosophy has been based around being brainwashed since I was 6 years old, sitting in a church and not feeling like it was any productive use of time, listening to a priest blab on about life, but he doesn't have any life experience. He's some guy named Peter. You know, he's talking about TV shows. He's never even been with a woman before. How could you tell me anything about life and you haven't had any life experience? Going to school, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, sitting these things, taking Adderall every single day. They prescribed me. They said I had a disability. I felt like everything in my life was to keep me down since I was born. And they told me that there was something wrong with me. And that's motivated me to do everything that I do. No. So the reason I started streaming is direct communication with my audience. I did videos for 9 years, but that was slower. And now I could talk to 10,000 people every single day. I want to go spread the knowledge that I've learned and try to bring people out and teach them the same things that I've learned from being trapped inside the box and being suppressed my whole life.
Again, Sneako. Notice how you go to 2022, he sounds like this. Now in 2024, he sounds like, you know, fake Muslim. He's just whatever at the time will give him the most views. He's LIFO. Blowing the LIFO.
And why? And that's a good question. I understand completely. Why do you think that? Do you think it gives some validation to yourself to do it? Do you think it's a selfish motivation, or do you think you're like a philanthropist?
There's some selfish, like there's some validation seeking. There's some need to be liked and admired, but the motivation
Yup, knew that.
is definitely based in what I said.
Disaster. Liar.
Because I wouldn't be banned on Twitter and TikTok. I wouldn't be risking
No, you would be.
this right now. We can get banned just sitting in this room with you. But we're all here because we believe in some sort of message. We have some sort of philosophy. If we want
Where do you stand on the Pledge of Allegiance every day in school? I'm okay with it. I think that the left was too quick to abdicate nationalism, or at least like patriotism. You should love your country. I think a healthy love of
I'm inclined to agree.
country is good. We should like our country. And the idea that like your country is cringe is probably not a healthy idea to have for people that are trying to like make a country work. Yeah, I don't know. I think that we associate like love of country way too much with far right movements, and it's probably good that everybody in a given country loves their country. Otherwise, you're in a really weird spot.
to cash out, we could jump in a pool of 100,000 Orbeez, do some prank videos farting in Walmart.
It's true.
We're here.
It's true. You're right. Good point. Good point. What about you, Fresh? Why are you streaming?
Honestly, bro, honest answer here.
Money.
I want to inspire. I never
Oh my lord, not one. Okay, sorry. I have to reference Diogenes now. So I don't know if you guys have heard the story of Diogenes, the cynic in from Greece. He's a philosopher, and he was the creator of cynicism. But anyway, he lived in a barrel, and he talked about shirking wealth and whatever. Anyway, there's a very funny story about Diogenes. So one day he was walking around with a lantern during the day, and people were like, you crazy guy, why are you walking with a lantern during the day? I'm looking for an honest man. Oh man, yep, feeling like Diogenes right now.
Like when I came to America, I saw a guy in a Lamborghini.
Oh shit! Oh no! Did he actually do it? Still haven't heard from Mexico Quinton's manager. He missed his first flight and is supposed to arrive 10 minutes after the show starts. LOL. Oh no, he's not. He's not gonna catch the second flight. Oh, Ludwig, why would you agree to this?
I don't know what this is. Let's skip ahead.
Look at cars, lifestyle, even getting girls, and it's W. But personally speaking, of course, I want to make money too as well, keeping 1,000. So
there you go. Finally,
I say inspiring and money as well.
What about you, Justin?
I like what we do, Andrew. I like the cause. I like guys coming together on a common mission, goals. Previous to joining the war room, the highest level of happiness I ever had is when I played college football. And to a bigger degree now, I feel like I'm a part of something that a group of guys that have each other's back no matter what are in. And it's about that companionship for me.
Yeah.
There's a common mission we all have together in our group that I'm absolutely in love with. So
he's got to be part of the group. He's not an individual.
I die for that. So for me, man, it's feeling like I'm contributing to a team that scores together. So that's what I like.
And I think that that's intrinsic to every single man. I think that that's definitely certainly the reason I do it. I get asked a lot by people like, hey, what's next? Or, what's it like? You have all this money, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to sit here and brag.
They want
but,
the influence.
I have enough money to live for the rest of my life. And I want to tell all the people out there who are grinding and hustling to get cash, yeah, you need it. But there really isn't that much to buy or do, right? I can give everyone.
I feel like this is more true than most people know. Like when you hit like this 200 to 250,000 a year like income, like you can travel more and maybe you can have a bigger house. Do you really give a fuck?
Indeed.
And then past that, you need like $100 million to have like fucking jets and shit. But I don't really know. There's huge gaps of stuff you can do between like making 20K a year and 50K a year, or 50K a year and 100K a year. And then I think like from 100 to 200 to 300K a year, there are jumps. Past like 2 or 300K, like I don't know if your life is changing that much. Like if you're making 250K a year, like that's awesome. If you're making $1 million a year, I don't think $1 million a year guy is buying yachts or private jets. Maybe you can rent trips on them. You can probably do that at 250K a year if you're saving, if you're budgeting. But like, yeah, I don't know. There's not like, there's a reason I think why you see these guys like Tate come to the streaming world is because like, yeah, having money is cool.
They get bored.
Cool, but influence is like, that's what everybody really wants. I want to speak and have people listen to me.
watching this stream, let's say you all had half a billion dollars, 500 million. You do a bunch of hedonistic bullshit. You'd get drunk a bunch, you fuck a bunch of girls, and you buy a bunch of cars, etc. And then you'd either completely fall into the hedonistic trap and go down the gambling and drugs route and destroy your life. But if you keep your brain on and you stay sane, you start to realize that the most valuable things are staying in good shape, your health, looking after yourself, the simple things, spending time with people you love, and hanging with your boys. Hanging with your
Which is literally what you can do before that.
boys is the #1 most interesting activity that's ever going to exist on the planet ever. It's the funnest thing there is to possibly do, to sit around in the room with your guys and talk shit. And that's what you said earlier about we could be in Indiana, just sitting there
fucking it up.
Fucking it up. We can end up broke in the Philippines with $25 in the bank, and we will laugh. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's all about the people who are around you. And there's something that's intrinsic to men. We definitely evolved with it. I think it's because we spent so much time either in groups,
I don't think this is unique to men, but
in armies or gangs or whatever we were doing. You just feel better when you're around people that you know you can trust with your life. And that's certainly the best thing about life. And yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, and I know what you guys are saying. But for me personally, the reason I stream is to try and find the other people out there who I might want to be friends with. Because when you're an exceptional individual, you're never going to meet friends in normal life. It's very rare. I don't know about you guys. I go through life and just meet a friend. Everyone I meet's a fucking idiot.
Indeed. All right. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation, like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, and Brian. Shout outs to you, most recent Patreon subscriber. If you want coaching, message me at theheliosblog@gmail.com. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. And my Patreon is at patreon.com/theheliosblog. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.